So coming back to the topic of, if you are a manual tester and if you need to do automation, what are basically the most important things that you have to spend your time on? So as I've been repeating, the most important thing is you have to learn from any automated tester perspective is you again, doesn't matter what language it is, whether it is Groovy or C# or Java or VB script, you got to be knowing variables, arrays, functions. And then you should be knowing as how to apply these things in, let's say, by creating what is called conditional logic, right? Now, conditional logic is common sense, right? And humans are wired in a way that by default, our logic kicks in, in any circumstance, right? Whether that is your professional life or your personal life or anything you do, you apply logic into it. So when it comes to writing your script, you should apply logic. So what is logic? I mean, in simple words, it is making your brain think in two ways, right? In its minimal format. If this is going to happen, then I will do this. Else, I will do something else, right? So as simple as that, right? I mean, now you could take it to as many levels up as you want with else if, right? I mean, so we could start giving any example here. If the water is too cold, I will not take a shower today. I mean, that's something we used to say back in India. But here, that's not the case. Here, I mean, you get, warm water, hot water, cold water, anything. So, so conditional logic is the ability to check if a condition is true. So you would be doing things like if certain condition is true, then you're going to be doing things like that, right? So then you would say, and if not, what this is what is called as a pseudocode. Pseudo is, not the actual code, but a way of thinking, right? If this is true, then I'm going to do this, do whatever I want to do in here, then I end that. Else, I want to do this, right? So we will be using conditional logic in here. Now, another important thing is you would be using something called repeatedly. If you have to do a certain task, like if you have to keep running the test for 100 different sets of data, in other words, if you have to data drive your test, something called a data-driven testing, and the data could be coming from your Excel or from your database or from your XML data document or from your CSV file. So whatever the issue is, right? If you have to connect to such external repositories and bring the data and pass it to your test, then you have to write some code using loops, right? So you would be using something called a for loop, right? So in its minimum format, you have to know these 5 things that I have talked about. So you got to be knowing about variables, you got to be knowing about arrays, functions, conditional logic, and for loop. I mean, there are more loops out there. There's a do loop, do while loop, for loop, this and that, right? But for loop is the minimum that we have to do. Okay, now that we get an idea whether you are, learning your QTP or Selenium or SoapUI or LoadRunner or JMeter or Coded UI or anything under the sun as a software testing tool, if it is an automated software testing tool, these things you are supposed to know. And as you don't sit in each and every car to learn to drive, meaning if you, let's say, if you have to get your driving license, you don't have to sit in your Mercedes or in your BMW or in your Acura or in your, Toyota or in your, you just take one car, you drive it, you learn how to drive, you go and get your license. You take one language and then you learn these concepts of variables, arrays, functions, and you will be surprised or not so surprised to find that it's not going to be any different when you sit in another tool, or for that matter, If you want to do something using Groovy, you would find the same thing you would be doing. You would be learning about all of these things. If you were doing C#, you would be doing the same. So learning it once, learning it good, you could, sort of like take that knowledge and apply it in any other language. So the syntax is going to be slightly different, but the concepts pretty much remain the same. All right, so that will put the question to rest. As I'm not a programmer, will I be able to do it? Because if you are going to get into automation, you have to be knowing these things, and that is where we come in and we fill in the gap, rather, because you don't know these things, or you might already know these things, but let's go with the least common denominator, where I expect that you do not know these things, and that's what you would be paying me for, to be here for the next 4 weeks, and it's my job, it's my task to transfer the knowledge. I will make sure that I will give you in this knowledge in such a way that you should be able to take it and run with it. What I mean by that, it's not going to be reading from PowerPoint. I promise you, for good or bad, there will never be a single slide of PowerPoint in this course. Now, I don't believe in reading things from a PowerPoint. I mean, my dog can read that. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. I mean, anybody can read anything from a PowerPoint. My way of imparting this training is 100% hands-on, right? So that's what I guarantee you, 100% hands-on. And it's not just me doing. I will involve you to participate with 100% hands-on. How? There are going to be 8 sessions, right? Each session is going to be 2 hours long. There are going to be 8 sessions in this training. At the end of each session, each 2-hour session, at the end of each 2-hour session, I will give you an assignment. So 8 sessions, 8 assignments, or 8 labs, or 8 tasks, whatever you want to call it. Now, those 8 assignments will make you do everything hands-on, and the things that we're going to be doing in here is not trying to learn as how a butterfly is going to fly. Now, you would say probably that's going to be more challenging to learn how a butterfly flies rather than doing Groovy. So I take your point, but at the same time, the objective here is we will not be doing anything that is not needed as a part of learning of SoapUI. So butterfly flying from one part to the other part of the garden is not necessarily our challenge. Our challenge is to learn anything and everything that will help us do what? Do web service testing. So we will be learning almost anything that is needed out of you. If you are on a project, they might ask you to do certain things. So you should be able to do everything with absolutely no fear, full confidence. You should be able to, take up your, project work and should be able to do it with ease, because I will make you go through that through these assignments. So 8 assignments, we expect you to participate, and we expect you to do that, and that's your 100% hands-on. Okay, now what are we going to be covering in those 8 assignments? I guess this is not the time to talk about it, because it might sound gibberish to you, because you don't know. If I say that, okay, we'll be doing mock services, we'll be doing CDATA, we'll be doing, so it's sort of like me boasting about it, because you're not ready for it, at least at this time. But as we progress in this course, you will be learning all of these things. Now, the learning that will be happening here is not just through these online sessions. Of course, these online sessions will happen on the weekend, on Saturdays and Sundays. On top of that, you will also be given about 40 to 60 hours of videos, right? So you will be watching videos. So today I will be covering day one. This is pretty introductory session. So we're not going to be at least covering data-driven testing today. I mean, you don't expect that to happen today, right? But let's say you're very curious as how to do data-driven testing using SoapUI. Well, you don't have to wait for weeks to know that. Because of the fact that we have given you the videos, you could just go and watch those videos and be done with this training before even we could start the training. Because today is Sunday, today is day one. Day two is going to happen 8 days from now or 7 days from now, next Saturday. So probably by the time you would have completed this training, because we've already given you the videos. Now, how different are videos from a live training? Well, surprise, surprise, those videos are the recording of the live trainings of the previous batches. So you would find that we have shared with you the November batch, the December batch, right, or the January batch. Just go and watch them. Just go and watch them, and you would see that. Now, you would say that how is a live session different from a video? Well, here is what it is. You are here, correct? I am here. You have a question. You can ask me that question here, right here. Can you ask that question to the video? Well, you can try, but you're not going to get any answer from the video, but you would get an answer from me. Now, that brings us to an interesting topic, like, you know, how are we going to be making this session, this 2-hour session today and for the next 7 classes that are coming after this class interactive? Well, you got to ask me questions. How can you ask me a question when I have muted you all? Well, there's a reason for me to mute you. The reason is I don't know what's happening in your living rooms. Probably you have your TV turned on, you're watching some news, or you're watching some sports, or you're watching, who knows what's happening. Or maybe you have your pets, your cats and your dogs barking around. And you know, it's okay if you hear all that, but then if I unmute you, that would feed into this session. And then the whole world, I mean, we have folks attending from Australia right now. I mean, we have folks attending from UK. There's a guy from UK. So I don't want, you know, people to get bothered with what is happening. So we have muted you. So, but still, how can you ask a question? Well, there's a chat window. So right now, if you see on your screens on the right-hand side on the top, there is a sort of like a control panel. It might be collapsed right now with that arrow. You know, when you click on that, it is going to expand, and when you, it's like a toggle. When you click on it, it'll collapse, and when you click on it, it's going to expand. So when it expands, there is a sort of like a chat window, and when you you know, click on that and then type something, you would be able to see. Say, for instance, I am typing welcome. Right? So you should be seeing, I have sent it to the entire audience, so you should be seeing something like welcome. So you have a question, type your question there. I will be reading your question. Let's say if I'm in the middle of something. So allow me to finish my thought, and so that I could come back and then address your question. And try to keep the questions considering that the audience who is in here you know, are here to learn about SoapUI and not necessarily anything personal. So say, for example, if you have a question about, hey, I cannot see the Selenium videos. Well, think about it. I mean, you know, probably this is not the place for you to ask that question. So you could email us, you could call us, you could, you know, catch us some other way rather than asking that question here. So anything related to SoapUI, feel free. So we talked about online. We talked about online training, you participating. We talked about that. There is one other medium of getting connected to us. We have something called forums, right? So you can post your questions into those forums. So I'll show you where those forums are. And like you in the past, there are a lot of folks who have taken these trainings and they are pretty active in there. So let me log in and let me take you here. So after you log in, just type, after you log into Google, just type groups.google.com, groups.google.com. Right? And when you do that, you will see this screen, My Groups. Now, when I click My Groups right now, who am I? I am the admin of TrainingRite. So I get to watch all the groups here, right? In your case, probably you are not taking all the courses. If you're taking all the courses, then you should be a member of TrainingRite, Selenium Training, QTP, mobile app, SoapUI, SharePoint, manual testing, yada, 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 right? But you are not, so, or probably you are, I don't know. So I will take you to the SoapUI. So when you click on the SoapUI, you should be seeing these different topics in here, right? So as you can see, people have been posting these things. So if you have a question about Excel, right? So or data-driven testing, something like that, right? So you hit that, and all of a sudden you have here from the previous guys, they have been posting some questions and all that about that. So you could see that. You have something about database, right? So you do that, and now that how to connect to database, error while connecting to the databases. So this is the connection string and stuff like that. Now you have a question about Excel, so you could do that and then do that, and then you should be able to see Groovy script reading from Excel. And if you go in there, this is sort of like you could see some help in here. What is the question? I'm in an urgent need to parameterize of data from Excel to pass so here is somebody responding to it. Here is somebody responding to it. And if you see, so here is some code. Now you would say, oh, this code, oh my gosh, I can never learn it. There is some programming. Okay, don't worry about it, right? Because I'm showing you something, probably this is like the 6th or the 7th class or the 4th class or the 5th class. So today is just day 1. So, baby steps is what I expect all of us to take in order to learn this, right? So you should be doing that. How many people participating in this batch? How would we connect with each other? Okay. Basically, what we can do is right now we have about like 14 people, right? Now, because of the the change in the timings, today is Sunday here, but it's already Monday in Australia. It's a Monday afternoon in Australia. It's a Monday afternoon in New Zealand, and it's almost like getting into the evenings in say UK and in sometimes people they attend, sometimes people they don't attend. So the best thing is you will get into these groups, and then you could converse there in that group. So you could say in here, I am a member of, like, there is something going on in here, group practice. In the previous batch, some guy, he was arranging that people would go and then do group studies. So there's a lot of things going on in there. They're talking about it. So you could do the same offline. You could do that. So you could post your topic, say that I am in the February of 2015 batch, and I have this issue, I have this problem. Can you help? Or I can help if somebody needs anything. So that's sort of like take it offline and create your own group if you want to. Otherwise, this is the global group of TrainingRite SoapUI, wherein probably we have on an average of about like 3,000 to 4,000 students who have taken these courses in the past past 5 years since we have been doing this training. SoapUI is one of the hottest course, so you'll find a lot of people taking that course and stuff like that. Okay, so we address that you could be dealing online, you could be watching the videos, and then you could be participating in the forums, right? Of course, your assignments are your assignments that you have to submit. So at the tail end of every session, I will be giving you the assignment for that day. Like what are we supposed to do as a part of the assignment? So the first few assignments are going to be not that challenging because we're just sort of like introducing ourselves. So it's not going to be a huge challenge. But then as we progress further into this course, starting from day 4, things will start to become a little intense, a little bit challenging at that time. So your assignments will become challenging at that time. So the first day 1, day 2, day 3, and stuff like that, it's going to be easy stuff. I mean, the whole course is easy if you apply yourself, but if you're brand new to programming, then anything you do for the first time, it is going to be challenging, which is as easy as if you were learning to drive, or if you were learning to swim, if you were learning to cook. I mean, I don't pay much attention today if I have to make a famous dish from the Indian subcontinent menu. It is called biryani, right? So we have Western folks here. So this is what it is. So I do it with my eyes closed, right? I mean, I could make it, and you could literally lick your fingers off when you eat what I prepare. So I became good at it because I've been doing it for some time. But when I did it the first few times, nobody would even look at it because I would burn it. I would there would not be enough of, certain things, no enough salt, no enough, oil, stuff like that. But today I can call myself sort of like an expert when it comes to making that dish. Forget about making anything, how about driving? I mean, do you remember the first time you were sitting in that car, you were probably looking at the steering, your hands, your palms were like all sweaty, and then you don't know where the gear is, you don't know where the accelerator is, you don't know it. So you were like, all crazy at that time, all nervous. But today, you just take it for granted. You just sit in there and then you drive. Do you look at your brakes today? Really? I mean, seriously, tell me. I mean, do you look at where your gear is? I mean, your hand goes there because it's practice. Your mind is tuned to it. The same is going to happen, with your Groovy once you start learning it. So Rome was not built in a day. So don't expect that you would be good with these things, right away. I mean, but I can assure you, it's like a handshake. It's like a friendship you and I, we're going to have for the next 4 weeks. If you extend your hand, if you want to be, good, like a nice, good friend, no, you would say, oh, State Farm is here. That's that commercial, right? So no, we're not talking about State Farm. We're talking about you becoming a friend in terms of, following what I tell you to do. Do what I tell you to do, please, which is important thing is do your assignments. If you do your assignments, you will learn a lot. In this video, attending here and then watching this video or watching this session, it'll give you a good feeling. But the real confidence will come in if you put your hands on and then try to do it your own self. All right. Okay. With that said, let's get started, and let's go and do some SoapUI web service testing using the SoapUI. Now, before I get into things like that, let me ask if you have any questions. If you have any questions, why don't we talk, right? I mean, today it's more like getting to know one another. So, if you have any questions, if you want to talk to me about anything, it's fine. Anything is fine today on day one. You can talk to me anything. So if you want to talk, I will unmute you. You can click on that palm like an icon next, somewhere on your screen, and then that will lit my screen up, right next to your name, and I would know that you need attention, and I would unmute you, and you could talk to me, or else you could, type in. I could not get access of recorded video of previous sessions of SoapUI. Okay, I will take care of that. I will make sure that I will do that, Dwight. I'll do that. After this session, we will give you the access. Okay, now let's get going since you don't have any questions, so let me get started. Okay, now basically SoapUI is a tool, right? You have tools, QTP is a tool to do automation testing, and Selenium is a tool. SoapUI is also a tool. Now in SoapUI, SoapUI will help you what? SoapUI as a tool, it is from a company called Smart Bear, right? It is from Smart Bear Inc., right? So that's the company. So they are the folks who build this tool. A very nice company, a very, very nice company. I happen to know a couple of folks there because you know, we have been providing training of their tool, so they appreciate that. And how many people? Probably like more than 3,000 to 4,000 students have taken this course. So you know, that tells quite a bit about you know, the relationship we have. So I am all about you know, promoting this tool as much as I can. So there are two things that you need to know. SoapUI comes as a free or better word is the open source, right? It's an open source tool, so it is free, meaning no license. The other one is it comes as a pro version. The pro version is license based, right? Meaning that you have to pay a fee for that. The fee at this time is somewhere around $399 per year, right? So unlike QTP is $10,000. Now, before you even lift your finger and do anything, you have to spend about 10 to 20 grand to get the environment when it comes to like, you know, doing testing in QTP. But here, it's hardly like $399 for the pro version, and the free version is free, right? So we will be looking at the free version today. We'll be looking at it today. And then in the next class, I will show you about the pro version. The pro version, you can get the evaluation version of it. The evaluation version of it is going to work for about 15 days, and it will expire after 15 days. But then I will show you certain ways of using that. There is something called a virtual machine, a machine inside a machine. So I'll talk to you about that, how to set it up. And that way, if you have a VMware or a virtual machine, then you probably could be using you know, that forever. If you see here the Oracle VM virtual box. So I'll talk to you about that sometime later in this course. So as of now, this is basically what it is. We will start off with the free version today, and we will start off with the pro version. Now, somebody asked, what is the difference between the free version and the pro version? Okay, now, as far as the difference is concerned, you know, free is sort of like limited in its you know, functionalities or features. Pro version offers you lot of features. Now, how does those features they help you? So the short answer to that question is pro version. If you use pro version, it is less headache, right? Now, you would say, what do you mean by less headache? I mean, that is not necessarily the answer. Headache, you get it. I mean, so less headache, meaning that you don't have to write, no need to write a lot of Groovy code, right? So simply put, no need to know a lot of Groovy, right? Because pro version will offer you, you know, a lot of wizards or click, right? So you just click, and things will happen in pro version. Whereas in the free version, you have to write lots of code. Now, so here is basically the trade-off between the pro version and the free version. Now, if it was up to me, I would say that no, it's not. Narottam, the Pro version is for seat license. It's for seat license, not for the company-wide. It is for the seat license. So one license, one machine is $399. Now, again, if you ask for my suggestion, only because I have some authority only after using this tool for a little over 5 years, I can make this statement that if money is not an issue, if $399 is not an issue, you should blindly go with the Pro version, right? You should. There is no reason in the world that could convince me not to buy the Pro version. I will buy the Pro version. Why? Because it saves me huge amount of time. It saves me significant amount of time. So it will be like penny wise and pound foolish if you try to save money by going with the free version, and you have contractors or if you have employees who will be paid overtime to do work because you don't want to buy a license. I mean, 1 hour or 2 hours of time that you spend in the Pro version will pay off for everything that you would be doing without a Pro version, because of the amount of code that you have to write. And even though you know coding, you are good at it, but still the time that you would be spending to do that. Whereas, why would you not click, 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 and then make things happen? But again, company-wide now, if you have, let's say if you have 10 testers, right? I mean, I have not necessarily in my professional life of 19 years now, I have not seen 10 automated SoapUI testers. That I have not seen together. I mean, that I have not seen, and I have about 19 years of experience. So the maximum I saw were like we were working for a huge airline, and there were like 6 SoapUI guys, right? That was like a big team that we had. I mean, there were more testers. There were like 15 testers, but some other testers were doing like a manual testing. But maximum number of testers. So if you are talking about a company-wide license, unless you are totally dedicated to web service, the whole company is about web service. I would say maybe 8 to 10 license tops. That would still put you under $4,000 per year. Very good investment compared to going with the free, because you have to put in a lot of time to make anything simple happen there. All right. Okay. So where do I go and get this software, and how difficult it is to go and install the software? Well, we will go right now to that company, which is SoapUI.org. You could either Google or go straight here, SoapUI.org. All right. Okay. Now, as a marketing gimmick, they keep coming up with newer products. I mean, I don't really want to I don't want to put down what they are doing when it comes to coming up with this new products, because it's a sort of like putting a wrapper around the same product and then just trying to sort of perfume the pig. I mean, under the hood, it's the same thing, which is you are using the tool to do a web service testing. A couple of new features here and there, which probably would be like an overkill, and then you have a new version or a new product. So is it worth upgrading if you already have like a slightly older product? I would say no. So go with what they are offering it here. So if you scroll down here, there are the SoapUI and SoapUI NG Pro. All right. Okay. Let us today focus on SoapUI. So this is the free version. Now, take a look. They support different operating systems. You might have Linux, or you might have a Mac, or you might have a Windows, right? So if you have a Windows, and this course will make an assumption that you all have Windows as the operating system. Windows offers 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems, as you all know, right? So how would you find out if you have a 32-bit or a 64-bit operating system? So not that somebody told you and then you believe them. No, you got to know how to do that. So simple, couple of clicks, and then you would be much more knowledgeable about your own machine as what do you have. So the configuration of your machine can be found out by clicking on Start button and then go to Control Panel. So when you go to Control Panel, I have, these are large icons, right? So you probably might have like small icons because I do the trainings, I try to keep things on a bigger level. So here it is, the large icons. And you find from here, where is System? So right here is System. So when you click on that, as you see, this is about my system, right? So I want to boast a little bit about my system here, only because I want to show off a little bit. So allow me to show off a little bit. It's actually not a show off, but I'm just trying to say that I have a powerful machine. It runs on a Windows 7 Ultimate. Of course, Service Pack 1, and I have Intel 7 4700, 2.4 gigahertz, and I have a 16 gigs of RAM. And more importantly, this is the one that you should be paying attention to, 64-bit, right? Okay, so I have a 64-bit. Now, the reason I boasted a little bit about my powerful machine here is because I have to do stuff. We do so many trainings in here, and on top of that, I have the ability to run a system inside a system. So this is my host system, and if I go in here, this is one more system. So like that, I could literally run like 20 systems from this laptop. If you don't believe me, if you see here, that's a system 1, there's a system 2 is power off, there's a system sort of like system 3. This is for our Hadoop training that we are starting sometime soon. So now there's a need for me to do it. You don't have to have this powerful or such a strong system. So you could, even if you have 8 gigabytes, that's fine. Right? 4 is also good if you just want to do your SoapUI. Even 2 is good. Why? Because the tool, SoapUI tool, is such a fantastic tool. It allows you to do more with less compared to the other tools. And then I'm not trying to put down QTP, but QTP is a hog. I mean, it needs more to work. It needs a faster processor, just need more memory. Otherwise, it's going to become so slow that it's no fun at all, running that tool. So with SoapUI, it's nothing like that. SoapUI is a nice tool. So which particular version do you think I am going to download? I mean, it's a no-brainer because I have a 64-bit, so I'm going to go and click on the download, and I will be downloading so your download will start shortly, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and there you go. It's going to start to download. So it's a SoapUI version 5 exe that we will be downloading. So if I do that, it is going to take a couple of seconds to download. Fast forward, I have already downloaded it, and it is sitting on my machine. So what I would suggest is you all should make a folder on your C drive, call it whatever, but try to call it SoapUI, either SoapUI class, SoapUI training, whatever it is, right? Just do that. So that way we are consistent in the paths of where we have stored our files and stuff like that. So inside in here, now I want you to create these two, because they're not going to be there. So these two things I want you to create. I want you to create a workspaces plural, SoapUI _ workspaces and SoapUI underscore projects, right? These two folders. I love being organized, and I love, to find things, even if you wake me up at 2 in the morning, say that, hey, I need this. So I know where it is because I have kept things in a certain place, in a certain order. So I want you to develop that if you already don't have that practice of organizing things. So SoapUI training, the main folder, inside it, two folders, SoapUI workspaces, SoapUI projects. Now you would say, what the heck is a workspace? What is a project? I don't know what you're trying to tell me here. Can you please show me a little bit more about these things before talking about workspaces and projects? I would say, take a breather, right? Breathe in, breathe out, right? Relax, because I am going to show you everything, right? You have hired me. I am at your service. I have to deliver, right? That's a contract between you and me. So when you went here and when you said, oh, I am going to pay you this $399, that's like, okay, you got me now. We are under obligation. There is a contract for me to deliver, and I will, whether you like it or not, I will teach you SoapUI. You might not like it after 4 classes, because I will be sort of almost like scratching your back and sort of like policing you and saying, hey, where is the assignment? Where is my assignment? Why have you not submitted the assignment? So the first 2-3 days, we have a good friendship. You like me, you like my style and all that. After the 4th day, I am going to come and then start to bother you. Where is the assignment? Where is my assignment? Where is my assignment? Right? So you better be good to me as well by completing those assignments. Okay. So with that said, let us install the software. So where is the software? I mean, we downloaded it, didn't we? So here it is. So SoapUI, if you see here, SoapUI 64-bit 5, and in the parenthesis 4 times. That means that I have downloaded it 4 times. So it's 112 megabyte, right? I've downloaded it 4 times, and I have saved it here. So I saved it here. See that? SoapUI 64, right? I saved it here. So you can sort of like make a folder here, new, and call it SoapUI software. SoapUI underscore software, right? And bring that here. So let us go here and let us right click, open the folder. And when you open the folder, here it is. As you can see, I am going to right click on it, cut from here, and I'll go here, go to my SoapUI training, go to my software, and right click and paste it there. So here is my software, right? I downloaded it. Now we are talking about installing it, right? Installing it is as simple as double clicking on that and then running it, right? Okay. Now when you double click and run, it will take a couple of seconds and then it will install. And after it installs, you will be seeing this one, right? So that means that I have already installed it. So it will, after install, the installation takes about less than 2 minutes, depending on how fast your machine is. At least on my machine, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. So probably on your machine, maybe around the same time, maybe less, maybe more, but it shouldn't take about like an hour to install. All right, that's my point. Okay, so now that it is installed, what do we do with it, right? Okay, now before we go through what are we going to be doing with it, let me take up your questions if you have any. I see that do you have a question, Northam, or you just did I answer your question? Do you want me to unmute you? And okay, I have unmuted you if you have a question. Okay. All right. So I guess I did answer your question. Okay. Excellent. All right, so now anybody else, any questions before we start to see the tool? Any questions? Okay. All right, so no questions. Well, that's a little bit scary because there are two reasons people, they don't ask a question, right? As far as I have learned, they don't ask the question because either one of the reasons is either they have absolutely no idea what's going on in here, and then they are like, oh, what am I going to ask? I don't even know what this is, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. I am waiting for to get the big picture, to get a clear picture. So right as of now, I am like totally confused. I have no idea what is going to happen. What is this? That could be one reason for not asking the question. The other reason is you are understanding everything, every little part of it that makes you feel so happy and confident. You say, wow, I found a good, nice company. Whatever he's saying, it is making total sense to me. Well, if that's the case, then wow, I would say, keep it up. I would like the second option much better than the first option. So since I don't see any questions, so let's get going. Shailaja, you asked me a question. You downloaded the free version of or the pro version. I have downloaded. If you see here, I downloaded. If you see here, I did not go into the pro version. If you go into the pro version, in the pro version, there is a free pro trial, but you have to enter your enter your email address and enter your details and all that. So hold on to it. I will not show you this because if you download it today, it will run out in 2 weeks. So I don't want you to download the pro version today, right? So download it next Saturday. That way we'll get 2 weeks. So we'll be able to do a lot of stuff in it. And down the road, I will show you, as I said, how to even extend it and make it work by showing you different environments where you could install it in a virtual box and things like that. So today, don't download that today. Just download this one, right? Download that one. Okay. All right. So with that said, let us move along and see. So I'm not gonna install it because it's already installed on my machine, right? So all right, so before I show you the tool, the next 15-20 minutes, right? I have to spend some time, and then there is a reason I am doing this. For some of you folks, you're like, it might be a little bit uncomfortable for you that I'm doing this because you're like, oh, come on. I mean, I already know these things, and look at him. He's trying to kill the time and talking about these things. But just please bear with me for another 15-20 minutes because not everybody is on the same page. Some of the folks are sort of like new, so I got to be spending some time on the architecture. So it is important that you understand the architecture. So we will be spending some time, and I will try my best to keep it non-technical, right? It's as if I am explaining this to my youngest daughter, right? So I will do it, and please don't get offended when I say that, like, oh, why is he treating me like a kid? No, the intention is not to offend you, but the intention here is on day one, sort of like an hour or two has just started. I want to keep it simple, but at the same time, I want you to be on board, meaning I want you to understand, where you are going to go in this course. I promise, starting from day 2 onwards, it's going to be pretty technical, right? Today, allow me to teach it as if I'm teaching a novice, even though you are not, but allow me to do that. Okay. Web service testing, right? Web service testing. All right. So what is it? What is a web service? What is a web service? So you would say, well, it's a web service. What is a web service? Well, it's a web service. Well, okay. We will come to a conclusion of what is a web service after I finish my, my little explanation. All right? Okay. I am here sitting in New Jersey, right? I am conducting this training from New Jersey, and I have a laptop, right? Okay. So let's start here. I want to connect to the world, right? I mean, I have the choice today in 2015, I have a choice of, and I have it, I'm not boasting about it, but I have a tablet. You would say, what's the big deal? I have 2. Sure, God bless you for having 2 or more, right? Why? Because these days it's what? Like almost like under $300-400. I mean, you could also get a tablet for $99. You might not want to have it, but so the point here is affordability, right? So we all can afford. So we all have multiple laptops, we have tablets, and we have smartphones. And bear with me with my drawing or whatever, right? Okay, so I have a laptop, I have a tablet, and I have a smartphone. Let me ask you a question. Can you book your vacation from your iPhone? From your smartphone? You might have Android. You get offended when I say iPhone because you're like, oh, I don't like Apple. I don't like Apple. So how dare you said I had an iPhone? Well, sorry, I apologize. You have a Android, Google Android phone, right? So you have a smartphone. So for the lack of the better word, so smartphone is what you have. So the question is, can you book your vacation on smartphone? Chances are, yes, maybe you're not too comfortable doing it, but can you do it? If they put a gun to your head, would you be able to book your vacation, or would you be able to book your car or your airline ticket or your hotel from your phone? Yeah, I could do that. Well, good. Okay, you could do it from here. Can you do it from your tablet? Absolutely. Can you do it from your laptop? Oh, yeah. Can you do it from your desktop? Sure. Right? Okay. So we have multiple devices, right, that can connect over the internet, right? Imagine this as the internet. So over the internet, you are connected now to the outside world. Depending on if you want to book a plane ticket, you might go to American Airlines. I mean, I have no affinity with these guys. I just use that as an example. It could be any fill-in-the-blank airlines that you want to buy your tickets from, right? So you could go to their website, right? If you're buying a car, or if you're buying a rental car or booking a rental car, you could go to your Avis, you could go to your Hertz, you could go to your National, you could whatever, right? You could go there. If you are booking a hotel, you could go to your Hilton hotel, you could do that. If you're paying your bill of your phone, you could go to ATT, you could go to Verizon, you could go to Sprint, you could. So you say, what is the point? What are you trying to do here? Why are you mentioning these things? Well, basically, what I'm trying to do here is you have different devices. You have different devices today going over the internet and accessing these services that are provided from different businesses. Right? Now, the business domain that we are going to be working in is not of significance here, right? I mean, if you are in healthcare, good for you. If you are in, transportation, travel, good for you. If you are in, let's say, telecom, good for you. If you are in finance, very good for you. If you are, it doesn't matter, right? So what I am going to teach you today, it is universal. It applies irrespective of what domain you have. Okay? All right. With that said, what happens is the way you are accessing it is inside a browser here, right? You are accessing. So what are you accessing? You could be accessing a website, or you could be accessing, depending on what device you're using here, you could be accessing an app, right? So you might have seen Amazon app, right? And you also see the Amazon website. The difference is a little bit here and there, right? Maybe by the looks, or maybe the performance or stuff like that. Now, if we get into the technical details of what is the difference between a mobile website and a mobile app, then I would suggest you come and take our mobile testing course, because I will spend 2 hours explaining you the differences and all that. So here, it's not the place, it's not the time, it's not a part of our agenda. But I just want to draw the point to you is we will be basically looking at websites and apps depending on what device we are running it. So whether it is your website or whether it is your app, it will be showing you the plane ticket, or it will be showing you how much it's going to cost for one double bed in New York, Manhattan, right, in a Hilton hotel. So things like that it is. So irrespective of what site you go to, it is you are sending some information and you expect some information back, right? You send some information, you expect some information back. So in this case, these are all sort of like clients. These are all clients, and the place where you are going, they are all like servers, right? They're all like servers. Okay. In a web service, we have a similar concept. There will be a client, and the client will get connected over the internet to a physical server, right? Now, the client can be a browser, right? Or it can be a smartphone, which again will have its own browser, right? So the devices can be basically a laptop or mobile devices and stuff like that, right? And on the server, there is a physical server, and your web service will be on that server. We still don't know what a web service is. So the fact that the web service is not here on the client, we have established that a web service is something that is going to be sitting on a physical server. Let's talk a little bit about the servers, right? Because you will be testing a web service which would be sitting on a Linux box. So now you're like, what is a Linux box? So allow me to talk a little bit about the physical servers, right? A server is a machine with huge resources. Now, it might not be like, like an elephant in size, but it will be elephant in performance, but the size would be probably like, maybe like under 1 feet or 2 feet tall. But it'll have the strength or the performance of an elephant, meaning there's a lot of stuff that server will do compared to a regular laptop. A regular laptop, how do you measure a laptop? So basically you have to look at the configuration of a machine. So if you're talking about your own laptop, what do you see in a laptop? How would you even talk about it? If you're talking about somebody, oh, he's a good looking or she's a good looking, what are the features that you look at? Or you look at their eyes, you look at like their hair, you look at like their sort of like their nose, how bulging it is if it is ugly, or how pointing it is if it is good looking, or how tall he is, or how those are the features to establish a human beauty. Again, we go back to the beauties in the eyes of the beholder, whatever that is, right? But usually those are the markers that we judge people, right? Now, how do you judge a machine? How do you basically go and check the configuration of a machine? Do you look at the eyes of a machine? No. what do you look at? Okay, we look at the operating system. What operating system is there, right? What is the hard drive size, right? How much of memory it is? What kind of CPUs are there, right? These are the things that we look into, right? So operating system, what are the possible operating systems that you could have on a laptop? Or you have Windows 7, you have Windows maybe XP, these days Windows 8, and Windows, sometimes you have Windows 2003, Windows 2008, Windows 2012, right? So these are that. Or you could have like Apple Macintosh, or you could have Linux, or you could have Unix. So those are the operating systems, right? So when it comes to server, you could have, again, Unix as the operating system, Linux as the operating system, or Windows as the operating system, right? Usually Mac servers are rarely to be found. So these are the operating systems. Then you will look at the CPUs. So you have an array of CPUs. So usually you have like 7 CPUs or 10 CPUs, right? And then you look at the hard drive. Then you have a RAID configuration. RAID is for redundancy. So you have like 10 hard drives, 7 hard drives, 3 hard drives, 5 hard drives, right? So running concurrently, if one fails, the other one will. So that's all about hardware. Should we, indulge ourselves learning too many details? Heck no, right? Because we are not network admins. We are not like, so that's for somebody else, right? Not for us. Our forte, our area of expertise is more on the software side. So we should be worrying about, okay, what is the operating system? Okay, we briefly talked about the operating system. The next thing is, more than the operating system, there is one very, very important or critical component that goes on the server. Critical component. That critical component is called the web server or app server, it is called. So what are the possible choices of the web server? Now, web server goes on top of the operating server. So the web server is not a hardware, it is a software, meaning that it is installed on top of the operating system. What are the most popular web servers out there? Well, you might have heard about WebLogic, right? Apache, right? And WebSphere, WebSphere, and then you have heard about JBoss, and then you heard about Tomcat, and you heard about IIS, Internet Information Service, and the list sort of like keeps going on, right? So this is the most critical component. Why? Because you have to have a web server to host what? To host a web service or a web services. If you have a web service will be some code written by who? A developer or a programmer. Now this code will be deployed on a server that will or must have a web server software to host it, right? Now, what good a web service, which is nothing but the code, is if it is sitting on a developer's machine. So the idea here is you cannot be testing a web service on a developer's machine. He has to deploy it. So he will be deploying it onto a server, and on that server we got to make sure that we know what web server is hosting our web services. Now, is the knowledge of the technical knowledge of web server important? The answer is no, it is not important. But there are certain things about that web server that you need to know, right? What are those certain things? There are things like, how can you find out that the web server is up and running, right? Because you are here to test a web service. How can you test a web service when the web service itself is down? So if the web server is down, How can you find out? So there will be some messages that you have to decode, right? Now you would say, what are those messages? Is this some military thing? I mean, if we are in a war, you and I, we will not know anything about the messages, but the military guys, they would know because they have to decode those messages. What messages are we going to decode? Well, those messages are a part of HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol. So if you are in military, they might have some things going on. They're tapping the messages. There is some, I mean, who knows? I mean, I had nobody in military. So what, I cannot even talk one sentence of it. But maybe in the audience here, probably you have either your father, your mother, you yourself, or your sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your somebody else. So you would talk a lot about it because you have some idea. I have absolutely no idea. I can only talk about, you know, our messages, which is through SoapUI, which is through HTTP. So now, if I know a code, right? If I know a code, which code? If I know 404. I know that means something. If I know 500, that means something. If I know, so these are what? These are HTTP codes. So down the road, I will be talking to you about HTTP codes. Now, you just said, oh, you said it's going to be for a novice and it's going to be, you will keep it pretty simple. Now you're using all this technical jargon and you're making me nervous. I would say that no, we are not doing anything very technical that you cannot understand. I'm just trying to lay out the plot, right? I'm just trying to give you a picture from 40,000 feet up, right? Remember, if you're flying on a plane and you are about to land and it's still not on the ground, it's still like far up, and then you're peeking through your window and you see, you know, you don't see all the details, like which of the building is an Empire State Building. I mean, if you are in New York, you would know. I mean, I've been living here for 23 years, so I mean, I can literally, with my eyes closed, say that, that's Empire State Building, right? That's a Chrysler Building. That's like a Rockefeller Building, because I live here. But if you take me to Chicago, what do I know? I mean, there's a Sears Building, I guess, but if you just put me there, I would not know which one is that. Probably I'll go for the tallest one. That is all about getting to know. So I'm trying to give you some high-level overview of these things. HTTP protocol, there is an Empire State Building in New York. There's HTTP protocol that you would be getting into, and there is a web server, JBoss, Tomcat, IIS, Internet Information Server. IIS stands for, and then so I'm just giving you some ideas. Down the road, we're going to get deep into it. And I will take your hand. I'll say, this is Empire State Building. This is your IIS. And this is how you will find out if the server is down. Right now, you know, I hope you are with me so far, right? Okay. So what we have established, we'll take a step back and try to establish and try to sort of like, you know, summarize what we have learned so far, even though I am nowhere done yet. But what I'm saying is, in case of a web service, there will be something similar to client and server. Clients are people who will be using this web services, and web service is nothing but some code the developer had created. We don't know what that code is, which we will find out very soon, but that web service developer that had created has to be put on a server. The server is a machine with huge resources, not necessarily big in size, but it should be fast. It should be like more hard drives. If one crashes, the second one should automatically, you know, take care of, you know, by not crashing. So things like that. So we talked about RAID. We talked about like, you know, an array of, you know, CPUs. We talked about operating system on the server. Then we said, okay, take this code from the developer's machine, and then we use the word host and we use the word deploy, right? So deployment on the server is when you will be ready to test your web service. So how does the code gets deployed on the server? Well, didn't you pay me? Sure, I will show you someday, right? So someday I will show you. Right now, I'm just telling you the story. So just, it's that, time that you would be hearing my story, and then we will live this story as the time progresses. So, the question, what about Java programming? You never mentioned about Java programming in here, so I'm a little bit scared about this part. So will you be covering Java programming? Well, SoapUI uses Groovy scripting. So Groovy is going to be the language that we'll be using. Now you say, this is the first time in my life I am hearing about the word Groovy as a programming language. Heard a lot about Java, don't know what Groovy is. Well, remember those 5 things: variables, arrays, functions, conditional logic, and the ability to write loops. That is exactly what you need to know. And Groovy is like, compare between Java and Groovy. Let me tell you this. Now, please don't be angry with me. I'll take it on myself and then tell you this. I originally come from India, right? I mean, if I am standing here next to, let's say, Tom Cruise, and say that he's my brother. I mean, brother, not like universal brother, but like we are brothers, same parents. You would like, can I slap you? What happened here? How can you be a brother of Tom Cruise? I would say, what's wrong with it? They say that you are Indian, you have a certain color, and he's a white guy. So it's a little bit, difficult to say that we are brothers. Forget about brothers. I cannot even say that we are cousins. So I have to really work crazily hard to establish like a relationship between us. But if I sit next to, you would pick a name from India, I mean, whoever, and say that, okay, he's my brother. The chances are, okay, you would somehow, maybe, you would. So things you could relate to, right? So likewise, Java and Groovy can be related like that. So Java and Groovy are almost like cousins, very close in resemblance. So if you know Groovy, you could write code in Java. Or if you know Java, you could write code in Groovy with your eyes closed. Because anything you do in Groovy, if you have a knowledge of Java, will work. So Java literally works in Groovy. So if you have a knowledge of Java, you're done. You're done. You don't really need me, because Groovy is a cousin of Java. So almost everything we do in Java, we could get away doing that in Groovy as well. All right. So rather than learning Java, I'll be teaching you Groovy. But if you already have a knowledge of Java, then you are already a winner, because you could put that in the code and it'll compile. So coming back to what we were discussing, so web service will be on the server, and we need to basically run that. Okay, and check if that web service is working. Okay, now that you have some idea, not in detail, but you have some idea you have at this point, right? Now, with that, let us talk a little bit more about, particularly about web services. Okay, I have been employed by, let's say, why do I keep taking American Airlines? Let's say I am employed by US Airways. You would say, are they still in business? Yes, they are. I flew them, couple of weeks back. American Airlines have become, when I say American Airlines that originate from America, they have become stingy. They take my $400, and they don't even want to give me peanuts. They don't even want to give me pretzels. Come on. Come on. I go to my country, poor country it is. I mean, 80% people, they hardly make like $1 or $2 a day in my country, right? I guess that number can go up, probably like 85% of the people. I mean, that glitter that you see is only in like some major cities. I mean, that glitter, India is like on the top of the world right now. Come on, don't give me that BS. I mean, 85% of the people still can't, eat. I mean, food, they go hungry every day in my country. I mean, a shame. But I travel for like an hour from Bombay to my place, and they give me food. 1 hour. I could hardly eat and be done with it, but they give me such a nice food. And here, you go from one part of the country to the other, you hardly get any pretzels, man. Come on, $400, and come on, show some courtesy. Give me something. I mean, anyways, you would say, what does that have to do with my SoapUI testing? Well, I apologize. I just have to do this ranting every now and then. Okay, so let's say I've been hired by U.S. Airways. So what am I doing at U.S. Airways? Well, they say that, okay, you are our tester. You are going to be testing our SoapUI, right? Okay, so day one, I've been there, and let's say fast forward like day 3, day 4. So that means that I already have my credentials to log into the system and all that. So I have to test their web services. Now I'm just thinking in my head. Like they have not given me any documentation. So I'm just thinking, what am I possibly testing there? What kind of web services? Can I be testing? This is the U.S. Airways, right? Can I be testing a web service wherein I have to find out the distance between Montreal and Dallas? Is that a possibility? Maybe yes, maybe no. Can I be testing what are we going to be doing if we have an Ebola patient on the flight? Yeah, I don't know. So these are guessing things. But U.S. Airways, can I be testing book a flight? Can I be testing something like that? Oh, absolutely. There is a pretty good chance that you would be testing a functionality, book a flight, right? Oh, change flight reservation, right? Book flight reservation. Change flight reservation. Oh yeah, if you book, you people might want to change. Oh, how about cancel flight reservation? Oh, sure, right? So at least I have a good possibility, 95%, that these 3 functionalities I would be testing, right? Okay, now just take one at a time. Book flight reservation. What do you think I have to do to book a flight reservation? What do you think I need to know about it? In my head, I'm just thinking, forget about the documentation and forget about it. In my head, I'm thinking, book a flight, what information should I have for book a flight? And this I'm booking for myself. Do they need my social security number? And I said, no, come on. I mean, God forbid. I mean, why should they? So what is needed? Oh, maybe they need my name. What else do they need? Where am I leaving from? What airport I'm leaving from? So probably leaving airport is what they need. Oh, I'm leaving, but somewhere I have to, get off, right? So leaving, or better word would be departing airport. Arriving airport. Okay, good. Name. Okay, book me this. What? When are you leaving? Oh, date of date of departure, right? Oh, are you going for the honeymoon and never coming back? Oh, no, no, no. I want to come back. Oh, return date. Okay, good. Are you going on the honeymoon all alone? Oh, I get you. Number of passengers, right? Number of passengers, right? And if you ask me, you have some people who would like to do that, go on the honeymoon alone. They're so tired in just like a couple of hours these days that they're like, oh, can I get a break? Can I go all the way by myself? So could be two. I mean, if you have good in-laws, maybe you want to take them on your gosh, I am so sorry. I apologize. You are upset, I know. Anyways, the point that I wanted to make with all this is in order to test something, you have to, this is some functionality, right? Some functionality, if you order to test, you have to give some input data, right? Input data. And at the end of it, when you have given all this to the website, and you and lot more things, I mean, your credit card number, right? So many things which I did not discuss, right? And what do you expect after all this? What do you expect? What is the expectation? If it is not giving you anything, what would go in your head? Oh, thieves. Thieves, these are robbers. They took my information. They took my credit. They did not give me confirmation number. They did not give me any sort of confirmation. So the minimum confirmation that you want to have is, oh, just say that the ticket is booked. So give me some sort of like output message, like your ticket has been booked, or this is your confirmation. So there is some input and then there is some output. All right. So if you have to test any feature, of an application, you should be sending input data and you should be expecting output. Correct? Okay. Now, in a web service, the idea of the web service is you put some code on the server so that whoever uses it, whether it is laptop, whether it is mobile device, whether it is tablet, whether it is desktop, whoever is going to use it, or whoever, right? They should be able to give me something, send me something, and I should be able to send something back to that device, right? So they would be sending me something. What are they sending? All this, right? All this. Now, where are they sending this? By putting it probably onto the browser. They could be putting that information, or if it is a tablet, again, on a tablet you have a browser, you put it in there, or a mobile app you will put. So the idea here is you pass data, right? And you expect data, right? Pass data to who? To this web service. Now with that understanding, let's go a little bit deeper into it. Right? Deeper into it, right? One more step, please allow me. So in a web service, you will have one single, let's say one single, right, feature or function, right, or the code, right, one single, or there could be more, right? What feature? Book reservation is one function. Another function, change reservation is another function. Third function, cancel reservation is another function. So all of a sudden now in this US Airways, I have a web service. In that web service, I have 1, 2, 3, or 37, right? 37 what? 37 functions, right? Functions. Now, if a developer is writing a code, he will call it function. Now, as the jargon of web services, this function is referred to as an operation, right? Okay, so this web service will expose how many operations? Maybe 3, maybe 37. So in a web service, you have many operations, right? Okay. Now, does each operation expects input parameters? Do they expect input parameters, these operations, right? This is the name of this is an operation. Do they expect input parameters? Yes. What input parameters? Depending on what it is. Now, do you expect to get an output parameter from a operation, right? Yes, depending on what it is, right? So in a web service, you have operations, and to the operations you provide input parameters and you expect output parameters or output data of an operation. Correct? Okay. Now, can I say it slightly differently? In a web service, you will provide input data to it and get output data to it. Yeah, right? Or can you say that a web service will expose one or more operations, and to those operations you have to provide the parameters, right? Now, in order to use this feature, can you say that I have to send a request to the operation? Sending a request is nothing but passing the input parameter. So when you say that, oh, I send a request to the web service, so basically you are sending that input parameters to that specific operation. So you will get what? If you send a request, you will get what? I get a response. Oh, now I know, said the whoever. So basically, in a web service, you send a request with the input data to this web service, and the web service returns you or sends you the response with the output data. Okay? All right. Now, if you need to know inside this web service how many functions or how many operations are there, 3 or 37, right? How would you know, right? Or what is that called? That is referred to as an interface. So what is an interface of a web service? It's nothing but the exposure of what you have in that web service. What do you have in a web service? Operations. How many operations? Well, look at the interface and you would get to know, right? What each operation is taking as input parameter through its request. Well, look at the interface and you would know, right? So how can I even look at the interface? What do I need to know to look at the interface? Now we are talking. We need to see a document. That document is called what? That document is called WSDL. 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 What WSDL stands for? Web Service Description Language. It is a document. Oh, is it written in English or some technical stuff? Oh, it is written in XML. But I don't know XML. How can I understand WSDL? I have no knowledge of XML. I don't know what XML is. How can you make me understand WSDL? I would say, give me, and you can time me with a stopwatch. Give me 5 minutes. I will make you an expert of XML when it comes to understanding WSDL. 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I will make you an expert when it comes to understanding WSDL document, which exposes the interface, which talks about the operations and the input and the output parameters that we need to pass to an operation, that can be even so deep that we can even know what kind of data type we need to pass as a parameter to an operation, right? So that all, I promise, in 5 minutes, I will make you, not I will show you, I will make you an expert in what? In knowing WSDL. Okay, so WSDLs, I will show you what a WSDL is, and I will, your head probably would spin a little bit when you look at that document the first time, but this is my guarantee to you, right? This is my guarantee to you that you would become an expert of WSDL, right? Without knowledge of XML, and you would make it happen in 5 minutes. Okay, with that, let us look at WSDL. Now, before I show you the WSDL, we still got a good 13 minutes, right? Let me ask one of you, right, whoever you can be, and give me as much as you can in your talk. I don't need you to type it. Raise your hand and I will unmute you. Just talk to me and understand this. You are learning. You are not a master at it. The whole attempt that is being made right now is to find out how good I am in putting you to sleep. Are you sleeping right now, or are you awake? If you are awake, just say something however you have understood what a web service. If you could take a minute to 2, I would appreciate that. Rather than just saying 1 or 2 words, if you could put together this, not this, if you could put together, not even that, if you could put together that and that and that in your talk, by telling me what is your understanding of a web service, right? It could be 1-word answer, right? It is some code that programmer writes, or you could give me some details. I need one person to say that. That will give me some idea that, yeah, he or she. Okay, Sri Lakshmi, I appreciate you volunteering for it. So let me unmute you. Just talk to me, and no need to worry. You could be wrong. You could be right. I just want to hear your voice. Go ahead. Talk.
Hi, this is Sri Lakshmi. So here in web service, we have different clients. We send the request to the web server and get the response. In the request, we send in the various parameters, input parameters, and we get the output. And in order to know what parameters have to be sent, we should understand the WSDL. The web service exposes the interfaces and the operations, which in turn contain the operations, contain the requests and the response we get. And anything else I have to answer?
Sri Lakshmi, I have to ask you this. You know, what is that you have which I don't have, because I took almost an hour and a half to tell all this, and you did it in like a minute. You should be here and I should be there. I mean, you have said it everything like in a minute, and I was trying to say the same thing, and I took almost like an hour and a half. So excellent job, fantastic job. Thank you so much for doing it, and I appreciate you participating. So excellent, and that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So thank you, and I appreciate that. Okay, so I am going to move on now because it seems two things. She is definitely awake. I don't know about the rest of you folks, but she is definitely awake, and she was paying attention to what I was saying. So thank you. So let's move on. So in order for you to test a web service, the very first thing that you should be looking for is do we have a WSDL? Do we have a WSDL? Right? So WSDL, in the way you find out a WSDL, WSDL is nothing but the address, right? It will hold in it. Inside WSDL, you will find the following three things inside the WSDL, right? You will find inside the WSDL, which is the web service description language, inside the WSDL document, you find A, B, and C. So you would say, what? What is this ABC? Are you teaching me A for apple, B for boy, C for cat? Well, it's not that. It means something literally. A stands for address, B stands for binding, and C stands for contract. So inside the WSDL, we have the details about address, about binding, about contract. Now you would say, what is binding? What is contract? I would say that the class will become a total theory class if I take you into binding and contract. And my motto is I never want to keep my class as 100% like talk and not show you something. And today on day one, it is very important for me to do the talking and lay out this plot. And starting from day two, you will not find me doing these things, but you will find me using the tool. So in order to test a web service, number one, I have to know the address of the web service, where it is. I have to know what is that we are binding to, and what is the contract, what is that we have to send the information. Binding to is nothing but the operations, right? What operations we have, and in the contract we have to understand about what we are sending and what we are receiving, right? So this I will show it to you in the next class. Right now I will show you as how to test a web service. Okay, to test a web service, I have to have that WSDL document. In the WSDL, we will get this part, the address. So I will take the address right now. I'll take the address, and I will, from my WSDL, I will take the address. So this is okay. So as you can see here, these are the different web services that we will be testing as a part of this course. We'll be testing different web services, right? So I'm going to start off, let's say, here. I'm going to start off here. I'll take this web service, address of that web service, and I will go and bring up my browser, and I will type that, and I will hit enter. Now, when you look at it, you're like, so you're like moaning and sort of like bitching and like, look at him, and how is he going to teach this, all this? I cannot even make any sense. And how is he going to teach me all this? He just do a lot of talking, and he says he will teach me that in 5 minutes. Next class, when you come here, right, I want you to come with your stopwatch, right, and I will challenge you that in 5 minutes you will become the master of this. Why? Because I have a trick. The trick is, now, is it too big now? Too big now? You say, no, it's just one line. Yeah, there is some tricks, there's some magic. I'm going to show you that magic that you could read and understand a WSDL document in less than 5. Why 5 minutes? Why 5 minutes? 2 minutes? 1 minute? Right? So now that's like a little bit of an exaggeration, 1 minute, but usually like 5 minutes we should be able to do it. All right? Okay, so let us test this web service without knowing what it is, but let us test this web service. I am giving you a little bit background of what we are doing. in any e-commerce application, I will take you to one of the applications here, TrainingRite.net/online. I mean, I could have taken you to Amazon.com, I could have taken you to eBay, I could have taken you to any e-commerce site, but you will never find a bug in those sites, right? And what are the chances that you will ever find a bug in eBay or Amazon? Nothing, right? So here I'll show you what basically it is. So we have this functionality. I'm searching for something. So let's say I'm searching for Panasonic, right? And I do that. So this is the search. So I got that. Now I will add an item. So this is the adding the item. This has some functionality in it. So if there is a discount, there's a total, and you will proceed to checkout. And here I am doing this part as a web service. I will be showing you this part of it, only this part of the testing. That the other testing I'll do it later on. This part of the testing, wherein we will select whatever it is and enter the credit card, enter the all those details in here, and this I will be doing as a part of the testing using SoapUI, right? Okay, so how are we going to do it? So first of all, what I'm going to do here is open the SoapUI as a tool. So SoapUI, I'll be using the which tool? I'll be using the SoapUI. I'll come to your question, Shailaja, in a minute. So I'll be using the non-pro version. So this is green versus blue. So this is the non-pro, which is the whatchamacall as the open source version of it. The first time it's going to open, it'll take a couple of seconds to open it. So that's fine. Give it that time. So once it opens it, it's like any other tool. If you go to Word, Microsoft Word, what do you do in Microsoft Word? You have like the menu items on the top, and then you have like a toolbar. You will the difference between the menu items and the toolbar is the toolbar would let you do two things with one click, rather than going into and clicking on the menu bar to open and select a file and stuff like that. Here you do it right away. So okay, so here, so this is what the tool looks like. So let me draw your attention to a couple of things in here. So this is the menu item on the top. This is the tool bar, and there is a left side top and left side bottom, and there is this right side. Right, this is the right side. So now what I'm going to do is I will very quickly go ahead and then test a web service. Okay, now what I am going to do, we will be spending like a day or one session, 2-hour session, trying to take you into every little detail of what it is, but I'm going to give you a preview of that. So here is what is called the workspace. Right? And more explanation on workspaces and projects and everything in the next class, but here is the workspace. Now I will go open a file and I'll say create a new SOAP project. You don't know what SOAP is at this time, which is fine. It stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, and I will talk to you about it, what it is. Now the project name, I will say that e-commerce credit card testing. Right, and you have to put in here in the initial WSDL, you have to paste the path of it, and hit OK. Take everything as default and hit OK. Now watch what will happen when I hit OK. See, it is connecting, and lo and behold, on your left hand side, you have this, and then you have this, and you have so many things in here. Right? Okay. One thing that I will show you is when you click here and watch this on the bottom here, this will tell you what is that particular thing. So we are looking at right now, we are looking, even though it says project, but that's a workspace. If I click on that, that's a project. If I click on that, that's an interface. So what was our explanation of what an interface is? An interface, right? An interface does what? It exposes all the operations that are there in a web service, all the operations. So coming back in here, this is an interface, and if you look at it, it's in collapse mode. If you look at it, you are not seeing anything. If I expand, what does it expose? What does it show? It shows, click on that, what? Operation. It shows operation, operation, operation. US Airways, as I discussed, I said 1, 2, 3, and I said 37 operate. So this many operation inside this. How many operations inside this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, so some operation. Let us take one operation at a time. Let us go into sale. How can I see the details of the sale operation? When you expand it, here is the request. And when you double click it, watch on the right side. When I double click it, on the right side, you see something here on the right side, right? I mean, too little for your eyes right now, but what you see here is something called a SOAP envelope. SOAP envelope, right? Okay, here is where we will stop. I will run one test without explaining much about it, right? And I will show you what is the result of it. This is the credit card number. This is the expiration month. Expiration month is 12. It is expiring in the year 2018, and the amount that I want to process is $399, right? And if I run it, what message do I get back? The message is, hey, sorry, the transaction was not approved, right? So input data, output data, request, this is the request, this is the response. You could hardly read it, response. Okay, the story begins here. The story begins here. All that I have told you so far was a trailer of the movie. The actual movie starts here. So welcome aboard. I wish you all a very happy Sunday, right? Enjoy the rest of the day. When you come back next Saturday, I will give you a complete understanding of how these web services they work, and we will start there. So I am actually done for the day now. Okay. What is the difference between the interfaces and resources? Resource is when it comes to a REST service. When it comes to REST service, there are two types of web services. There is something called a XML based when it comes to web services. Web service, right? There are two types. There is XML web service, and there is something called a RESTful web service. A second. There is a RESTful web service, right? So here are all your interfaces. Here are all your resources. I will not talk about this till we are on day 5. If you are in a rush, watch the videos and you will get to see on day 5 and day 6. There's a very good explanation of how to do REST service and resources and all that. Here are the interfaces. Okay, are we going to have these WSDL addresses for training? Absolutely. You should have all these WSDLs for training, and what we will do is you can have access if you go in here and search for WSDL, right? You should see some WSDLs here, right? So you should see some WSDLs there. If not, I will email you all the WSDLs, and you should WSDL links. Here is the WSDL links, right? Type WSDL links and you should see all the WSDL links. So these are the WSDL links, right? Okay. All right. So let me see. Every week you will send the GoToWebinar link, or we can use today's link. No, every week we will be sending you a new link every week. Who will write the WSDL? Testers will write the WSDL, or developers? No, testers will be given the WSDL. Developers will create the WSDL. Can we write the WSDL from scratch? You don't have to write anything. You will be given the document and you will be checking the document. Again, you can watch the videos between now and the next class. Otherwise, I will teach you everything in the next class. Okay, so that's about it. Okay, thank you. The video will be uploaded in a couple of minutes. If you have not registered, this is a very good time. Please go to our website and you could register by going and looking at this course, SoapUI. You could register there. Better, we have, I think, a very good deal that's going on. Buy 2 and get 1 free, 3 courses for $7.99. So rather than paying $400 for this one course, you could pay $7.99 and get 3 courses. And some of the courses are pretty expensive courses, like say, as an example, this is a $500 course. As you can see, this is a $500 course, and you could, so you're getting for $7.99 3 courses, so that would be a good option. But for those of you who are already registered, that's fine. You could also get the access to the videos for 30 days of any course. The $500 course, you could get it for $99, but then you have to pay some activation fee for the first month and all that. All right, so that's about it. I'll let you go. Have fun, enjoy, and I'll see you back next Saturday. We will be changing the time. The class is going to start 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Yeah, I'll give you the access to the videos. Okay, have a good one.